What's up, wrestling fans? This is your boy Cris Style. You are tuned in to the Style Breakdown with Cris Style, episode 4. This is the WrestleMania 42 prediction. We'll be dropping my prediction today, man. It should be coming out later on today. This is Thursday, April 15th, 16th. So we're a couple of days away from WrestleMania, man. We are here. We are in the thick of things. This is WrestleMania week. Tomorrow will be SmackDown. I am in Vegas, so I live in Vegas. So if you don't know from my prior episodes, I do live in Vegas. It's gonna start revving up out here. I do work on the strip, so I'll probably see a lot more people start, coming in and, falling in to get ready for this weekend, man. It's gonna be a lot of stuff. There's already a lot of events going on. Other wrestling promotions out here doing their thing. So shout out to those promotions, man, and shout out to all y'all that are coming to WrestleMania. I hope you guys have a safe trip out here. I know I got a couple of friends that are coming out here. Shout out to my boy Mar. He should be coming out here, and it should be a good time, man. But yeah, man, let's before we get into the predictions though, I just want to say, this build up for WrestleMania has been it's been a roller coaster. It has its ups, it has its downs, and it has its twists and it has its turns. And it's been a weird, little, even from last year, when they announced WrestleMania 42 was supposed to be in New Orleans. And then all of a sudden TKO, I guess, saw the money that it got from WrestleMania, last year's WrestleMania, and they pivot and decided to come back to Vegas. And it was already a little weird, a little off. A lot of people were not happy about that. New Orleans is I've never been, but I've heard great things about New Orleans. So I wouldn't understand why they would, I mean, I guess I from a revenue money share, I guess I understand why they would want to come back to Vegas. But at the same time, I feel like they could have made good money going to New Orleans. You got Bourbon Street, you got all the fine restaurants and culture out there in New Orleans. I think it would have been fine to have WrestleMania 42 out there. But it was just, it was from that point on, it was just kind of, weird. And then, now we hear since the Royal Rumble, since we've known Roman Reigns and Liv Morgan won the Royal Rumble from the Elimination Chamber match. It's all been just, up and down. And some of the buildups for some of the other matches, from, you know, the IC belt to the United States belt, men and women, to some of the feuds out there. There's been injuries that have kind of derailed certain feuds. Seth Rollins in the Vision, the injury to Braun Breaker, and then the injury to Bronson Reed kind of threw a monkey wrench into that. That's why we got Gunther versus Seth Rollins on this card. The build up for Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes kind of had an opportunity to right itself, and with the elongated history between those two over what 20 some years of history, and they kind of threw a monkey wrench into it, inserting Pat McAfee. You know what I'm saying? We're thinking like maybe it's if they had inserted another wrestling, either an active one or somebody from the past, whether that had been a Ric Flair or somebody, Ted DiBiase Jr. maybe makes a return back or anything like that. I think that they would have looked at this feud a little differently. But with Pat McAfee being inserted into this and him being the reveal of he was the one talking to Randy Orton, it's been kind of the IWC, as they say, did not take kindly to that. And it was just a little off. And then, the build up for Roman and CM Punk, it's had his good promos and then it's had his okay promos. And then inserting the Usos in it, which I understand why the Usos came out because of what Punk said about Sika. I'm gonna telling Roman, I'm gonna bury you next to your father. Any person would react like that when you hear somebody disrespect your family member like that. So I can understand why the Usos came out and wanted to get an apology. Um, but they, it still had its, even last week's promo or Monday's promo, which I had no problem with, but it was just kind of weird. Like they did all this mud slinging and all this, they slammed each other through tables and all kinds of stuff. And then on Monday it was like, all of a sudden now they want to be all calm and compliments and uh talk about reason why they hate each other because they're envious of each other with what the other one possessed. With CM Punk, he was envious because he was born in a wrestling family and he had that lineage and that background for him. CM Punk had to come up in the indies and in the hallway in the bingo halls and barnyards and stuff like that to make a name for himself. And that's why he has a connection with the fan base because he's pretty much one of us, you know what I'm saying? Whereas in Roman, he's always been in the business, he's been around the business. We all know Roman, the Usos, The Rock, that whole family, they've been in brown wrestling, even if they weren't ultimately starting off being wrestlers. The Rock was a football player, Roman Reigns was a football player, all the rest of them played football and then, decided, what, football is not working. I got this, this olive branch to go be a wrestler, and then they took it and they ran with it. Um so and then Roman, he's I hate you because you have this connection with the crowd and you've always had that connection. And when I was the big dog, I could never get that correct connection. It wasn't until recently when he became the tribal chief is when the crowd started giving him that connection. And even then he was a heel. So it was still like it was a connection, but it wasn't the connection until he got it now, where he became the tribal chief, OTC, as a baby face. Now he's starting to get that connection with the crowd. So um it's been an interesting build up for that. Even, Stephanie Van Kier, Liv Morgan, um, Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill, the women's title matches, they've been, interesting in their own different ways. I feel like Liv and Stephanie have built their things up a little bit more. They just decided to just go straight violence. And I love it. You know what I'm saying? They just each week just decided, you know what, we're just gonna beat up on each other until the match. So I like that build up. Rhea and Jade, it was a slow burn, in the beginning. Uh, it started off like comparing and contrasting. I look better than you. Oh, you may look better than me, but I wrestle better than you. It was just playing on that. And then when that really wasn't getting the buzz, they insert mention and BFAB. And look, I'm not mad at Jade Cargill having a faction. I actually don't have a problem with mention and BFAB joining her. Um, the only problem I had with it is then they insert EO Sky when EO and her and Rhea had already said their goodbyes. They was going their separate ways. EO was gonna go do her thing. Rhea was gonna do her thing on SmackDown. And then all of a sudden, EO Sky just comes out, and now she's back inserted in this. Also, mind you, she has a side quest. Not even a side quest. She still has Oscar on her heels, telling her that she, I brought, and that was a good, vignette from Oscar, saying that, I brought you out here. I paved the way so I can make it easy because I love you. But I see that, my love was, pretty much taken for granted, she feels like, not appreciated. So then you have the Oscar stuff, and then, EO, she loses to Jade, then she loses to Kyrie Sane because of Oscar. Um, so it's going to be interesting to see how that folds. I don't know if we're going to get Oscar versus EO Sky at WrestleMania, maybe they added, or if maybe it's a Friday night SmackDown or maybe Monday night they do it. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see. Then you got the women's title match with the Bella twins. We don't even know if Nikki Bella is going to be able to perform. She has a foot fracture, a broken foot, one of the two, and I don't know if she's going to be able to wrestle. So they haven't been on TV since the day that that match where they beat I think they beat Charlotte and Alexa, and they haven't been on TV since then. So because of Nikki's injury, so I don't even know if they're going to compete this weekend. So we're going to see. Um, Hopefully they do. Excuse me. Hopefully they do. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see with that. And then you got Finn Balor, you got Dom Mysterio. I think that match is going to be good. You got the ladder match. I think that match is going to be really good. That's going to be a show still. Seth Rollins and Gunther. That's definitely going to be a great match. They really started revving it up, especially on Monday. We're going to find out, with Gunther. Um, you know, he's gonna have a favor from Paul Heyman, so we'll see what that where that leads to. But we all know what match everybody's anticipate, and that's that Obafemi and Brock Lesnar match. That's probably going to be the most highly anticipated match on the card, and it's highly anticipated because are they going to pass the torch to Obafemi? Are they going to do it? I have my reservations about this, but are they going to pass the torch? Are they going to pass the torch? So, but let's get into the card, man. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up. Let's get into the card. Um, so let's start with night one. You got the 6-man tag match in the first hour of WrestleMania on both nights is free. So the first night is going to be on ESPN2, and then the second night is going to be on ESPN. So you got the 6-man tag match. You got the Usos and LA Knight versus Division and I Show Speed. We know that I Show Speed kind of, he inserted himself into this with the Vision by hitting LA Knight with the brass knuckles. He, LA Knight tapped him on the shoulder. He gets hit in the head with the brass knuckles. It kind of is a domino effect of leading to the Usos losing their tag team belts to the Vision. And so I Show Speed has been making appearances. Mind you, he was cursed by Danhausen, so this is leading up to that curse. Um, LA Knight shows up to I Show Speed's house on his stream, pretty much tells him, you got to make this right. Um, and then he throws him into the screen. And then, things have, more things have happened where I Show Speed pushed LA Knight and cost him a match against the Vision. So now here we are, LA Knight, Usos versus the Vision, I Show Speed. This is definitely going to be one of those matches where it's going to have some. It's going to be one of them fun matches. It's going to be I Show Speed doing some silly stuff. He's probably going to show how much of an athlete he is, for sure, for sure. He might even get some moves off on LA Knight. But I'm going to pick the Usos and LA Knight. I think I Show Speed will take the pin because he can take the pin. He could get pinned and it means nothing. Division won't get hurt by it because they can go off and say, "Hey, we weren't the ones that got pinned. Show was the one who got pinned." So I Show Speed probably takes the pin. Maybe LA Knight hits him with a force trauma, and they take the W. So should be a cool match. Good little opening match. Then you got the unsanctioned match with Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu. And I imagine that first match probably won't be a long match because this unsanctioned match is probably going to take up most of the rest of the hour. So Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre has been one of the better actually build-ups to WrestleMania, which is got me really, anticipating this match on night one. I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be a really, really good match. And if you don't know what unsanctioned rule means, it means that it's supposed to not count. Like it's a match that happened but didn't happen. So they turn the lights off and then they turn it back on, and these guys just go at it. It's just no holds bar, no 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 disqualification. You can do whatever, chains, chairs, whatever. They just gonna go at it. And we saw on Friday, Drew McIntyre handcuffed Jacob Fatu to a ring post and was just beating on Jacob Fatu. And Jacob Fatu broke out and still, Drew got the best of him. So they're gonna go after each other. They're gonna try to beat the hell out of each other. We saw the weeks prior to that, them falling off of a ramp or a balcony or whatever, and going at it. They was going at it in the back the whole show. So These two are going to try to beat the hell out of each other. It's going to be a great match, probably one of the better matches on the card. But I'm gonna go with Jacob Fatu in this match. I think it's time to put that battery in Jacob Fatu's back. I think it's time for them to move on from him and Drew. Let him go, start going towards possibly getting a world championship match, and going for that. Maybe he becomes the Money in the Bank winner this year, or maybe we start rolling towards planting seeds for next year, to Jacob Fatu wins the Royal Rumble next year. Um, so I think that it's time to put the battery in Jacob Fatu's back for sure, for sure. And I got him winning. But I think Drew, he's gonna be great. He's gonna be fine. He'll come back with a vengeance. I think he's gonna go off to promote or shoot. I don't know if the Highlander movie is done, but I don't know if he's going to promote it or whatever. But he's gonna be going away for a little bit anyway. So this makes sense to let Jacob Fatu get this W. And then you got the women's world tag team champion fatal four way. And like I said, I don't know what's up with the Bella twins. Obviously, they haven't said anything. We'll probably find out more on Friday Night SmackDown. Um, but you got the Bella twins, you got Lara and Bailey, you got Charlotte and Bliss, and then you got the Irresistible Force and Lash Legend and Nia Jax. Um, I'm gonna pick Bailey and Lara Valkyria. I just think they've been teasing it. I think Lara and Bailey. I think they're gonna do something like a heel type thing to win. Like they're gonna do some foolishness, or Lara might do something, hold the ropes while she pins somebody, or Bailey might do something, and it might be done to Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. I think that's where it's gonna happen too, where Lara and Bailey, everybody's like, oh, they got one over on them, and they end up being the tag team champions. And Nia Jackson, Lash Legend, are pissed off, and probably they get their revenge, or maybe even Charlotte and Alexa probably get their revenge at Backlash. We'll see, but yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. I think Laura and Bailey win the tag team championships. Then you got AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. Uh, this build up it's been okay, but I think this match, personally, I think that they should have waited for AJ Lee and Becky Lynch for the belt. I think they could have built it up to be a WrestleMania, and I think the anticipation would have been better. But with AJ Lee already in this match, already having it, and she beat Becky Lynch, and she beat her cleanly. It's just like now they just kind of dragging this feud along a little bit more. I'm pretty for sure. I'm guessing that AJ Lee only has so many appearances on her contract, so they're probably going to take the belt off her. So that's why I have Becky Lynch winning this match, because I think Becky Lynch can, they know she could do more with the belt. She could be more present with the belt. So I'm going Becky Lynch winning the match. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets one over on AJ Lee though. Like something happens. Maybe they're gonna do a trilogy. Maybe Becky Lynch wins this time, and they go into Backlash, and they ended at Backlash. Maybe, but I'm gonna go with Becky Lynch winning this match, and maybe she gets some outside interference from somebody else. We'll see. Then you got Gunther versus Seth Rollins. Like we said, this match was announced 2 weeks ago. And look, Seth Rollins, unfortunately, he gets hurt. He comes back. Braun Breaker, he gets hurt. And then Bronson Reed gets hurt. Because I personally think that either or was still healthy. If Braun Breaker was still healthy, we'd be talking about Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker. If Bronson Reed didn't get hurt, then it'd be Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed. Um, but Gunther, I think, is a good replacement as far as this is going to be a good match. Contrasting styles, but both really sound technical wrestlers in their own right. This has no choice but to be a great match. I think expectations are high as far as the performance in this ring. I know a lot of people have their gripes about Gunther. Some people are not big fans of Gunther. I just don't think they're a fan of his character. But you can't deny that Gunther is one of the better in-ring performers in the game today. He is a throwback technical wrestler. You could put Gunther in any era, and he's going to work. And those guys are just tried and true. So I think that I'm picking Gunther in this match. I think Braun Breaker comes out, spears Seth, and cost him the match. And Gunther wins this match, so he can make Paul, can go ahead and go forward with this. What Paul Heyman favor is going to be his, what he's going to ask Paul Heyman for. So I got Gunther winning this match. I think it's going to be a really good match, but I'm going with Gunther because I think Braun Breaker is going to be the one to come in and interrupt and spear Seth Rollins. Then you have Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Van Kira. And as I said in the beginning, I think these two have been going at it. They've been trying to kill each other or unalive each other, should I say, beating each other down. Uh, like I said, you had that crazy spot on, I think it was this past Monday or the Monday before, where Liv is talking to Roxanne, asking her like, "Are you with us?" Finn Balor's out of the Judgment Day. He brought you in. Are you still with us? And then Stephanie just comes out of nowhere, knocks over Liv. Liv hits her head into Roxanne, and Liv had that big knot on her head, even showing it on on all social media platforms. And yeah, man, it's been a crazy few. These girls, these ladies have been beating on each other. I'm gonna go with Liv Morgan. I think Raquel or Roxanne helps her win this belt. I think it starts feeding towards we get a Liv Morgan Raquel feud coming soon to finally get the breakup of the ladies of Judgment Day, and maybe we get Liv versus Raquel at SummerSlam. And I think Stephanie Van Care will be fine. She can go off and do something else with somebody else. Maybe she goes to AAA for a little bit and does some stuff over there. Um, but I definitely have I got Liv Morgan winning this match. And then you have Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton and Pat McAfee. It should be it's starting to seem like Cody Rhodes versus Pat McAfee the way this has been going. I feel like Randy Orton has become an afterthought in this main event. I don't know, man. This build up has not been good for me. To me, should I say, it's not been good to me. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm gonna go. Randy Orton wins this match. I think something's gonna happen. Maybe somebody else comes out, helps Randy win, and Randy becomes the champion, and then maybe we get a rematch at Backlash. I don't know, but I'm going Randy Orton with the W, and he becomes the new World Heavyweight Champion and becomes 15-time champion for sure. And then we go to night two. Uh, I think they're going to kick it off with Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi. I think that's going to be the first match, actually. Um, this match, listen, this is the other match that's probably been highly anticipated, probably the most highly anticipated match on both nights, between both nights, is Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. Um, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous about this match because Obafemi has been getting over on Brock this past month. Not one time has Brock Lesnar got over on him. Not one time has Brock Lesnar slammed him, beat him up, put him through a table, nothing. Yeah, it's all been Obafemi. Even Obafemi's, on Monday when they did their separate contract signings, you know, Oba comes out, and he finally gets to, get on the mic and talk to Paul Heyman, and he tells Paul Heyman, like, I'm the one that's going to be the one to beat Brock Lesnar. I've been the one. I'm up next. It's my time. It's no longer Brock's time. It's my time. And that's what makes me nervous about this match, because when you say stuff like that and he's been getting over and over, it's like it's a little bit too over the top of Obafemi getting over. And it makes me nervous that if Oba's going to win this match. And also it lends to why I think Gunther, what he's going to ask for. I think he's going to ask Paul Heyman. He wants Brock Lesnar. He wants to show that he's better than Brock Lesnar. He's a better wrestler than Brock Lesnar. And so he wants to end the career of Brock Lesnar. So I don't know if that's going to lead to that. I'm still, the only way Oba can win this match is if Brock Lesnar just from the jump is just suplexing him all around the ring, getting the best of Obafemi the whole match, and then finally Oba gets like a surge of energy, finally gets over, does the fall from grace, and wins the match. That's the only way I could see Oba winning this match is if he through the whole match he's just met with adversity from Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is just getting the best of him, and then finally Oba just finally gets that surge of energy, comes back and wins the match. That is the only way I could see Oba Femi winning this match. I'm gonna pick Oba because of that reason, but I wouldn't be surprised if Brock Lesnar wins. Then you got Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn. Trick Williams and Sammy have been going at it. Trick has had a great year so far. He has been great. The crowd loves him. He's been getting over. He has one of the best entrances in the game right now. So, and then Sami Zayn, they've been pushing him, teasing him, possibly turning heel. The whole thing with him is Sammy's always done things the right way. He never cut corners. And now lately, these past few weeks, he's been cutting corners. He cut corner to get the IC belt when Trick Williams hit Carmelo Hayes in the head, and he took advantage of that. And then the following week, for the rematch with Carmelo Hayes, he hurt his knee in the match, and the ref's trying to check on him after he tried to do something off the top rope, landed on his leg. His knee, his knee buckled a little bit. He's in the corner, favoring his leg. The ref is pushing Sammy away. Sammy does a holoa kick, takes advantage of it, and he retains the belt. And then we bring us to last week where, the crowd is booing Sammy, and Sammy's now on all my diehard fans. I still rock with you, but for the rest of y'all can kick rocks, pretty much. So I think they're leading into Sammy's gonna eventually turn heel, and I think eventually Trick is gonna turn a babyface. And I think what's gonna happen, I think Sami Zayn is gonna cut a corner. I think he's gonna cut a corner to win this match, retain the belt. And I think this rematch is gonna happen at Backlash, where I think Trick Williams becomes the IC champion at Backlash. And this is time going into the match, Trick Williams will be the babyface. Because going into this match, they're projecting Sammy to be the babyface and Trick to be the heel. I think after this match, he will be a babyface and he will go into Backlash as the babyface and he will win the champion. And then they're going to put the battery in Trick Williams back as the U.S. champion. So that's my prediction. I got Sammy winning because I think he's going to cut a corner. Then you got Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. Like I said in the beginning, this build-up has been interesting with BFAB and mentioned being part of Jade Cargill's crew now. They've been going back and forth, and then Io Sky got inserted into this. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think Jade needs to win this match because I think that if Jade loses this match, I think that it kind of buries everything that she's worked up to be. I know Rhea's been chasing a championship even on Raw, and she's been coming up short. But I could see an outside interference unless somebody comes back. Maybe Bianca Belair comes back to help Rhea Ripley and takes out Jade. I don't know. But I'm going to pick Jade Cargill to win this match because of outside interference, and maybe they try to put a beat down on Rhea, and then maybe Bianca comes out and helps with Io Sky. Maybe Io Sky comes to try to help and save the day too. So I could see something like that. But I'm gonna go with Jade Cargill to win this match. Then you have Demon Finn Balor and Dom Mysterio. This has been brewing for a minute. The Finn Balor leaving the Judgment Day. Finn has been, pretty much him and Dom have had their little qualms and back and forths or whatever, and it finally came to a head. And I think Finn Balor, just finally got tired of it and, told Dom about himself, saying he was a brat and, he doesn't do it, he needs to do it on his own. And, Dom didn't want to hear that. So they jumped Finn Balor, JD McDonough turned on him. I think that I think Demon Finn Balor, you don't bring back the Demon. And I wish they would have waited to announce the Demon. I don't think they should have put it on the card, but they did. And because of that, I got Demon Finn Balor. You can't bring the Demon back and have him lose this match. You just can't. I'm sorry. So I got the Demon Finn Balor winning this match, and I got him winning cleanly. I think JD McDonough might try to come out and help out, but I got the Demon Finn Balor winning this match. And I kind of messed up, y'all. I forgot to do the IC ladder match. You got JD McDonough, uh, Javon Evans, Rey Mysterio, Rusev, Dragon Lee, and Penta, who's the IC champion. He put the challenge out there. He said that we're going to do a ladder match for the IC belt. This is going to be one of those great matches of high flyers with one person that's kind of a what do you call it? But the person that's he's a contrast to everybody else. Rusev is the contrast because he's not a high flyer. He's he can do some moves, but he's not a high flyer. He's not gonna be doing no flips and stuff like that off the top rope or off the ladder. He's more of he's gonna body slam everybody, he's gonna beat everybody up, he's gonna do submission holds, stuff like that. Um, I honestly don't know. You can make a case for anybody to win this match. Of course, Penta, he's a fan favorite. You keep the belt on him, you put the battery in his back, you let him keep going. Jerron Evans is that new young star, has a whole life ahead of him. If you put the IC belt on him, I don't think nobody would be tripping. JD McDonough would be interesting because you can possibly make him the IC champion and start a few, start little breadcrumbs of him and Dom Mysterio possibly having a dissension over the belt. Rey Mysterio, another one. He get him another run as an IC champion. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how much longer Rey Mysterio has in the business as a wrestler, as a performer. So maybe you start some with Ray as the IC champion, and maybe Dom Mysterio gets involved. Dragon Lee, he's been a babyface favorite. A lot of people like him too. Maybe you can start jumpstart his reign as the IC champion, and then Rusev. Ever since Rusev has been back, I don't think he's been booked right. So maybe this would be a reset for him, and you give him the IC belt and allow him to be, uh, to dominate the mid card area as far as an IC champion. Um, so it's gonna be interesting to see. I'm gonna go with Rey Mysterio. I don't think they inserted him just to insert him. I think Rey Mysterio is going to win this match and have his last reign as the IC champion. Get one in. It doesn't even have to be a long reign. It'll be for a couple of months, and then he drops it to somebody. Maybe he drops it to Dragon Lee or something. But yeah, I got Rey Mysterio winning this match. And then you got the main event: CM Punk, Roman Reigns. This match is going to be interesting, man, because I honestly do not know what direction they're going to go. I don't know who's going to win this match. I really don't. I can make a case for both of them, but I'm going to go with the OTC. I think I'm going to go with Roman Reigns. I think they're going to put the belt back on Roman Reigns. I don't think they did all this just for Roman Reigns to lose this match. I think this is more so about Roman getting a W without the Usos, without the bloodline, him doing it on his own and starting his new reign, no pun intended, as the OTC, showing that he can do it by himself. No outside distractions, no Usos, no bloodline, nobody. Just him. He beat CM Punk by himself, and he can get that monkey off his back. So I'm going with Roman Reigns. It probably going to be some outside interference. Something's going to happen, I think. But I got Roman Reigns winning this match. I think it's going to be a pretty good match, but I got Roman winning. And yeah, man, that's my WrestleMania 42 prediction. Let me know what y'all think, man. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know how y'all feel. Do you feel like Roman's gonna win? Give me y'all predictions, man. I want to hear from y'all. I want to interact with y'all. So yeah, definitely give me your opinions and let me know how you feel. I appreciate y'all tapping in with me, man. Listening to me, man, and continue to, support your boy, man. I know there's a lot of wrestling content creators out there, but I would really appreciate hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share it with your peoples, you know what I'm saying, and that are wrestling fans, and help me build this channel up. But I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all enjoy WrestleMania, and I'm go.